talk about all the things that we've watched because of Broadway people. We haven't done that yet.
Okay, we'll do that. Hello and welcome to Thoughts Shared Souls Bared. I am Katie.
I'm Jill.
And as you just heard, we're going to talk about things we've watched because Broadway people were in it. I think last week I talked about having watched the entire series of Weeds because Hunter Parrish.
You did.
but also was very interested in that show. It was very interesting.
Let's pull up IMDb so we can figure out what all I've watched because
goodness.
It is a list. Okay. Let's see. Let's start with Aaron Tveit. He's the most obvious. Everyone knows I love Aaron Tveit. I will watch anything Aaron Tveit does because I love him. I don't care how long he's in it. I don't care if he's in it for 0.5 seconds. I will watch it.
Will you watch the entire series or just this episode?
Oh, I'll watch a whole series. I'm so hard to go home. Because I'm like, you never know if he'll show up again. I'm like the worst.
IMDb lists the episode.
So, well, shut up. So, I have watched. He's got an extensive filmography. I've seen Ghost Town. He was in it for 5 seconds.
Yeah, he played an anesthesiologist. I did the same thing. The movie came out, 2009, 2010? 2008, yeah. So it was definitely on HBO by the time I was well into my obsession with him. So on HBO, and that's how I watched it. I do not like Ricky Gervais, but I definitely watched that entire.
Yeah.
I don't like Ricky Gervais, but I definitely watched that entire movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, same. I was like, I'm here for Kristen Wiig and Aaron Tveit, and I got 5 seconds of both of them, so it's fine.
You hear that?
Yeah, what is that?
It's a fucking helicopter. Okay, naturally. Continue.
Howl, which is a great movie. I love that movie.
That's him and James Franco, right?
Yeah.
And they're playing who's James Franco playing in that movie? A writer,
James
right?
Franco, James Franco plays Allen Ginsberg and Aaron Tveit plays Orlovsky, and they were like great lovers. They were obsessed with each other. They're a beautiful couple. I love them. And it was very well played by James Franco and Aaron Tveit. I'll say right now. Very well done. I know James Franco is gross, but he did really well in that movie. Anyways, I don't want to say any more than that because I don't want to get controversial again and have people come for me for like a teeny tiny remark I made. Ugly Betty. I watched Ugly Betty anyways, but it was before I knew who Aaron Tveit was. So like I knew who he was because of Gossip Girl, but like I didn't like care about him.
What did he do on Ugly Betty?
He was in one episode. It's the best episode. I highly suggest watching it because he plays a playwright named Zachary Bull, and he like Betty. Him and Betty are like go on dates and what. It's so cute. I love it. And then he tells her, he's like, "Oh, do you mind like coming and saying like instead of going to opening night of my play, do you mind coming like tomorrow and like we'll go together then because like I really want to take my mom as my date." And she's like, "Oh my god, yeah, don't even mention it, like for sure," because she's a great person. And so he's like, "Okay, perfect, I'll like see you tomorrow, perfect, whatever." And then she goes to surprise him because she got a press ticket, and she goes to surprise him and he's there with another woman because his agent was like, "You have to date this girl for your image." And it's like a whole thing, and then she gets sad and she throws flowers at him and then like punches him in the face. It's amazing. It's so good. And then he goes back the next day to apologize. It's amazing. It's such a good episode.
So I have something to say about Ugly Betty. I didn't really watch it. I may have watched it a little bit in the beginning, but I didn't really watch it. I'm assuming this episode was after they moved production from Los Angeles to New York.
Yeah.
Because they definitely, I know that they were originally filming the show in LA because I had a friend who did like extra work on the show briefly when we were in like 5th grade.
Love that.
But there's an episode of Ugly Betty where they go see Wicked or something. They go see Wicked. I don't remember the circumstances surrounding it. But so the people playing Elphaba and Glinda are Megan Hilty and Eden Espinosa. And it's because like it was so easy for them to do because that was when there was the Wicked sit-down production in LA at the Pantages. And so Megan Hilty and Eden Espinosa were already like playing Glinda and Elphaba, so they just like had them do this little part, and I thought that was so interesting to have them do. So that, and I do think when we had Teal on, she said that the Gershwin is what, around 2,000 seats. So the Pantages is like 700 seats larger than that. But I think like you have like still have like the big wide orchestra. The Pantages is the first show. That production of Wicked was the first like professional production I ever saw before, and it was with them. And then I accidentally left during intermission. But that's a story for another day. Oh no, we've already talked about it.
You already told the story. Yeah. So okay. So he's done a lot of 1-episode arcs on shows. Yeah. But before I want to get into that, I want to tell you this movie called Girl Walks Into a Bar. If you want to get drunk one night or high, whatever you prefer, if you want to just like get absolutely wasted one night and watch a movie that makes no sense, I highly recommend Girl Walks Into a Bar because the cast is stacked. It's an amazing cast. The movie makes no sense. I don't understand the plot, but it's like I enjoy watching it. Like it's a fun watch, but the plot doesn't make sense. But it's got like Alexis Bledel, it's got Rosario Dawson, Danny DeVito, Carla Gugino, Josh Hartnett,
Carla Gugino, she's the one who's the mom in Spy Kids, right?
I believe so. I've never actually seen Spy Kids.
Oof, that's something you gotta watch.
I've tried. I know. No, thank you. Let's see. Kevin Zegers, which I love Kevin Zegers.
I have no idea who that is.
He's in Gossip Girl. He's Damien Zalvar.
So he was Ben in Felicity, an American Girl Story.
Yes, he was. Thank you. So yeah, Girl Walks Into a Bar is really good to watch if you are drunk and or high, and
if you are drunk and or high, you should watch Felicity, an American Girl Story.
Also that I guess
I shall have no tea.
Or the Samantha. The only way I can handle like the beginning of Samantha where that kid like jams his finger through a sewing machine is if I'm drunk. I cannot handle that otherwise.
The American Girl movies, I went through a phase over the summer, but I went through like a phase over the summer where I watched all of them.
I remember that.
Like even the ones that were just on Amazon Prime.
Fun fact, I was looking through my DVDs the other day because we were trying to find something to watch, and Chrissa Stands Strong is in my DVD collection.
Just kidding. Never seen that one.
You've never seen it. It's about bullying. I highly recommend it.
I was never interested in like the Girl of the Year ones.
Oh, those are.
I didn't care about those American Girls.
I actually bought that movie.
Ones.
Pretty sure that movie came to me for Christmas one year. I was way too old for American Girl at that point, but I still loved American Girl because I was like, ugh, they're just iconic. So like I was still getting like the movies and whatnot, but like highly recommend it. So iconic. Anyways, so then we have where he's doing these little 1-episode arcs and like Law and Order and like things like that. So there's a show called Body of Proof. I've never seen more than this episode of this show. This is like the only one that he had an arc in that I only watched that episode because I watched this one episode and I hated it. So I was like, I'm not watching anymore. But he plays an arsonist.
Oh my dear Lord.
Fire marshal. He works for fire marshal and he's setting fires.
Dear Lord.
It's so bad. And then we have his SVU arcs. He was in 2 episodes of SVU, playing 2 different characters, and one of them is dead.
Well, do you remember at the Tonys a couple years ago where they were like, here's all these people when they were on Law and Order, and it was like Danny Burstein and Danny Burstein and Danny Burstein and Danny Burstein. It was like Danny 5 times.
Danny is in one of my favorite episodes that I've only seen twice because it makes me so unbelievably sad. I can't watch it any more than that.
The one where Peter Gallagher dies or Andy Carl dies?
Peter Gallagher is not dead in SVU. Shut your mouth, Katie. He will never die. Don't ever. Andy
Unless
Carl
it's on
dies.
Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Okay, relax. Let's calm down. So In SVU, Andy Carl does die. I won't say his character's name because it makes me sad to think about, so I'm not going to say it. But Andy Carl's character does die. However, this is not the episode that Aaron Tveit or that Danny Burstein's in. The episode that Danny Burstein is in, I've seen twice. It is called Transgender Bridge, and it is about a transgender teenager who is murdered accidentally by a group of kids who push her, off of. And it is hard to watch. Like, it is rough. I recommend watching it just like because I think it's important, but also it's so good. But Danny plays the teenager's dad, and it's just he's so good. Like, Danny Burstein's the best. I love him.
Danny Burstein is such a phenomenal actor.
He's amazing. Oh my god, he's so amazing. But SVU, I've got a lot of my favorite Broadway people are on SVU, but I watch SVU anyways. But these episodes that Aaron were in, one was he played like this guy whose girlfriend was raped and murdered, but he was like this hippie yogi guy who wore hemp pants, and like it was weird. And he had like all these animals in his.
I feel like he has definitely like tried to and be the this is gonna how do I say this? He's tried to be, I'm sure at some point in his career he has auditioned for roles that were like, I'm the relaxed hippie Southern California Orange County boy with the floppy hair, and I'm a golden retriever boy. But like, he's too waspy for that.
He's Mike Warren in Graceland.
Well, no, because the thing about Mike Warren in Graceland is he isn't that. Like, he is, I'm FBI, I'm this, I'm that. It's not like, no, but what I mean is like, okay, the movie Clueless, the role that Breckin Meyer plays, Travis, like that kind of deal. But he's too, the only term I can think of is waspy. It's too waspy to be like a skater boy. But like, he definitely could have had the hair for it, and like, I don't know, he's too polished to be not grunge, but like SoCal surfer.
Yes.
That's the words that never came to my mind. I'm like, what are all of the things? SoCal, Orange County.
You skirted around the word for like 10 minutes, and then you finally got to
skirt it around the
so my favorite Aaron Tveit arc in SVU is an episode where is based on a true story. I can't remember. It's about a football, like the true story is a football coach, but in the show is a basketball coach. His basketball coach molested him as a child. And so now he's like this junkie on the streets of New York. He's like homeless, the whole thing. And then he works with the detectives to try and like catch his coach or whatever. And he goes undercover. I say undercover loosely. It's not undercover. So he goes to like try and get out of like one of his old teammates to admit that like their coach had raped him. And in doing this, he sparked a fight outside of a bar. The guy's cousin or something like that finds him later on, gives him a hot shot because he was a junkie, so they were like not going to think anything of it if he's got like a mass amount of heroin in his system. So
thank you for explaining what a hot shot is.
Yeah.
I was just nodding along. I was like, I know what that means.
And so yeah, so
I know nothing about anything really.
I know a lot of things because I watch a lot of FBI television, and my dad has told me a lot of things. But yeah, so it gives him a hot shot, and they find him, and he's like dead, whatever, and it's a whole thing. So that's my favorite SVU arc with Aaron Tveit. And then we have the Good Wife / the Good Fight. He plays the same character in both shows. obviously, because the kings are smart.
There's a show called The Good Fight.
Yeah, it's a spinoff of The Good Wife.
Never
It's on
heard of it.
CBS All Access. You would love it. Like, you would absolutely love it. But it's a spinoff of The Good Wife on CBS All Access. It's very, very good. It has Christine Baranski, Audra McDonald. It's amazing. And in these shows, he plays the same character, Spencer Zhao, who works. I can't remember if it's like in The Good Wife, I think he's just like a prosecutor. But then in The Good Fight, he works with the DA's office in Chicago. And he like the Good Fight is essentially about an all-black firm, and Christine Baranski's like the token white woman that works in this firm. It's amazing. And so there's like one of the episodes he's in, he plays opposite Matthew Perry, who, I'm gonna be honest with you, Matthew Perry is not aging well.
No, he's not. Do you know who Matthew Perry's stepdad is? Do you know who Matthew Perry's stepdad is?
No.
Keith Morrison of Dateline.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
I did not know that. That's iconic.
It's his stepdad. Like, because I was, for whatever reason, I was on Keith Morrison's Wikipedia page. I think it's because I watched a lot of like Bill Hader impersonations of Keith Morrison, and I was like, let me Google, because my dad loves Dateline and he loves Keith Morrison. And so I was just on there, and it was like relatives, and then it said Matthew Perry, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was
That's amazing.
I was like, can't be the same one. Cannot be Chandler Bing.
Gotta be a million.
I know. I was like, that's gotta be a very common name. Right. And I clicked on it, and I was like, nope, Chandler Bing right there. And I was like, huh. And I'm like,
know nothing
okay.
about Friends. I know Matthew Perry from 17 Again.
With Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yes. Like, I know nothing about Friends. When you say Matthew Perry to me, I'm like, Zac Efron as an adult. Thank you. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But he plays opposite Matthew Perry. Him and Matthew Perry work really well together. I'm gonna say they're like, chemistry is amazing. Super
Aaron
good.
Tveit and Matthew Perry?
Yes, they worked really well together. I loved it. But there's this scene in one of the episodes of The Good Fight, which is the one with Matthew Perry that he was in, which also has Corey Cott in that episode. It's crazy. So there's this scene where they're they're in a, what's it called? Like a grand jury. They're doing a grand jury. And so Aaron is like, his character is questioning one of the people at the law firm, like the all-black law firm. And he keeps asking questions, and they keep going, yes, the black man. like they make everything about like a racial situation, and then he's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't asking about like racial makeup. And they're like, no, but you asked me about the person. And it's like they try to make everything sound racist, and it's so funny. I love it. And then the other episode that he's in, which has, my father's gonna kill me for forgetting this guy's name. Give me 1 second. Oh my God, my dad's gonna kill me. One moment.
What is this person known for?
Hold on, like everything. Michael Sheen.
Oh my God.
I know.
Michael Sheen. He played David Frost in Frost Nixon. He also played Aro, the vampire in the Twilight movies.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm. Michael Sheen, right? The guy who's like Welsh or something.
My dad is like obsessed with him because of Good Omens, because my dad is like obsessed with Neil Gaiman.
Oh, then yeah, it's the same guy. We're talking about the same guy. I'm like, because at first you said Michael Sheen, and my first image my brain conjured was Michael Shannon, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I got you. So Michael Sheen's character in The Good Fight is like this. He's a train wreck essentially, but he his big character trait in this episode is that he's Jewish. And then there's one of the girls that works at the law firm. She's another white woman that works at the law firm, but she is a lesbian, and so it's like there's a whole plot. It comes up more often than you would think it would, but it makes sense with like in the context of the show, like it tracks. But there's this scene where like they come into court because they're pissed at him for not bringing in like the discovery and like all the evidence and whatever. So they come into court with all these fake props that make him look anti-Semitic and homophobic. And he's sitting there like, what is going on? Like, he's looking at the judge and he's like, I swear to God, none of this is me. And then Michael Sheen goes, yeah, says a Holocaust denier. And he's like, I'm not a Holocaust denier.
Did you ever watch?
No, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm obsessed with it.
Did you ever watch the show Trial and Error?
Yes.
That show was a good show.
One with Kristen Rodriguez.
Chris Rodriguez in the first season,
Yeah.
Kristen Chenoweth in the second. That was
Yes.
a fantastic, but obviously I did watch it, going like the whole theme of this episode. I watched it because of Krista Rodriguez. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
she's a series regular on the show.
Yeah.
And then Jane Mays was on it too, and John Lithgow, and like I love
Jim Mays.
Delicious show.
I love that show. It's so good.
It was so good. I was so bummed it only got 2 seasons.
Yes.
But it was, oh my god. And the guy from Hand of God was in it too. The one who was like my brother cousin. He was in the play Hand to God. That show about the puppet where that one audience member tried to like climb on stage and shove their phone into the charger. That was clearly a prop. I want to know how that even happened. How does that happen?
The same way a kid ended up in a gorilla exhibit at the Cincinnati Zoo.
This person really climbed on stage and said, I'm charging my phone into this outlet that's part of the set. Because surely electricity is connected.
It all makes sense. I mean, I would have done it. Like, hello?
No. Hello?
So, next up is Gossip Girl. I already watched Gossip Girl anyways. It is what it is. Everyone knows I'm obsessed with Gossip Girl. Premium Rush. You know what I'm talking about.
Sign it up.
I'm talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He was in it. Aaron Tveit was in it for 30 seconds. One scene.
He had like 2 lines. There's a conversation between him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I remember the movie is about Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's like a bicycle delivery messenger. But I don't remember why. Like, I don't remember what the whole point of it was. Why was he in?
That's all I know.
Like, was that the point of it? There had to be like some sinister plot line behind it. Like he got caught up in something. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I definitely did watch Premium Rush because I saw that Aaron Tveit was in it. But I don't remember anything about it.
So here's the shorter synopsis. In Manhattan, a bike messenger picks up an envelope that attracts the interest of a dirty cop who pursues the cyclist throughout the city.
The sinister plot.
Yeah.
Who's the antagonist in that movie? Like, who is the sinister cop? Is it Michael Sheen? Or sorry, Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon.
Damn it. That's what I meant. I swear to God, I meant to say Michael Shannon.
Everything comes full circle here. Like,
I meant to say Michael Shannon, but Michael Sheen came out because my brain screwed it up. But I meant to say it. So it is Michael Shannon?
It's Michael Shannon.
I knew it.
You were like Aaron Tveit, small roles. Michael Shannon. And then we have Les Mis, which I didn't necessarily watch just for Aaron, but that was why my friends watched it, so I watched
Les Mis came out in what, 2012?
Yes.
I was a fan of Les Mis since like 2010-ish. I watched the 25th anniversary concert because Nick Jonas, which is weird that I would do that considering Nick Jonas is my least favorite of the 3. Oh, it's ranked. It's Joe, Kevin, Nick. There's something about I love the Jonas Brothers, but something about Nick Jonas. Something about Nick rubs me the wrong way.
Love Nick Jonas. When him and Priyanka got together, my dad would make jokes. This is a joke that, like, because I'm obsessed with Priyanka Chopra. I love that woman more than anything. And whenever like news broke that Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra were like a thing, my dad goes, I don't know who Jilly's more jealous of. was like, you know what? Neither do I, honest to God. But like honestly, I'm more jealous of Nick Jonas than Priyanka. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. I would marry Priyanka faster than I would marry Nick Jonas.
But so I watched the Les Mis 25th anniversary. I think I got the movie. It was like in Redbox. So like I got it out of a Redbox. I watched it. It was like 2010. And I was like, oh, I love this. Maybe it was like 2009. No, 2010. It doesn't matter when it was. But like Les Mis happened to be like going on tour near like in 2011 in LA. And so saw that, was like obsessed with Les Mis. And then I remember I own the Les Mis 25th anniversary concert. And I remember when it was like announced that it was going to become a movie, I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then when they announced that he was going to be playing Alja Ross, I lost my goddamn mind. I lost it.
Funny? You know something really funny about that movie, actually?
What?
I don't know if you know. So there was, I think it was on Happy, Sad, Confused, where he talked about this. The episode came out in 2020, like early 2020. It was at the beginning of the Tony campaigning for Aaron Tveit. So he was on Happy, Sad, Confused, the podcast with Josh Horowitz, and they were talking about Les Mis. And so Aaron told this story about how this is like crazy to me. Like this is nuts. But Tom Hooper got the movie greenlit because of Aaron Tveit. So they had Aaron do a screen test singing live because Tom Hooper was like, that's the only way I can do this, is if they're singing. Like that's the only way that Les Mis is
the entire movie greenlit. Was he gonna like just like can the entire movie if they couldn't sing it live?
Well, no, like he was like, I won't do this if they're not singing live. Like he was like, I'm not going to be a part of this if I can't have it the way I want, which is them singing live. And so like the whole thing was going to go to shit.
This
like
casting the company, to the like production company.
Yeah, like Tom Hooper said this to them because he was like, well, because he was attached to it. They'd already cast a few people. Like Hugh Jackman was already a part of it. I think Russell Crowe's already a part of it. I could be wrong about that. But he had brought in Aaron to do a screen test singing live. And for those who don't know, Aaron actually originally auditioned for Marius, but they gave him Alja. Yeah, but they gave him Alja Ross because I don't remember the reason. They said some reason, but now I can't remember what it was. But he said that he did the screen test, everything went really well. They loved it, and I was like, because you had the best singer out of the cast come in to do the screen test. Imagine if they had Eddie Redmayne do the screen test. The whole thing would have been like shot down.
This movie tried so hard, and there are such great parts of that movie, but then there are other parts where it's like
so many good scenes. Here's my thing with the Les Mis movie though, and this might be controversial. I don't know. I think it is. And I think this every time I watch it, but like I think that Russell Crowe was a good choice character-wise for Javert. He can't sing. I'm gonna say that right now. He did his best though. He tried his hardest, and I think that's
the thing is he's not. He's in some band, but the thing is his band is like a rock band. It's not like a not even contemporary. It's not like it's a Broadway style
right band. And Russell Crowe, he worked hard, and I think that character-wise he did so well. Like he killed it as Javert. Had it not been like the musical version, he would have been so much like it would have been amazing.
There's some continue.
I'm like super weird
on him.
I love Hugh Jackman. I think he's insanely talented. I love pretty much anything Hugh Jackman does. Like I love so many like all of his movies pretty much. But there's his Bring Him Home makes me want to scream.
It's very like grovelly. It's like
he hits that vibrato so fucking hard every single note.
It doesn't feel natural.
Like, it doesn't at all. Like I don't like his Bring Him Home. I think that pretty much every other song I don't mind him on, but like but I think that he had the star quality, he had the acting chops. I think he killed it as Valjean. It was just Bring Him Home. That's my
Jackman loves musical theater. Man loves it. He just wants to sing and dance. Like, that's all he wants to do in life. Is sing and dance, and yet he's contractually obligated to play the Wolverine, and he's like, I guess, but can I go do a musical real quick?
And let me tell you, I want them to do a Wolverine musical for him.
Oh my gosh, or at least like a number.
I feel like my worlds colliding. Like, that would be the ultimate Jill's worlds colliding. It's like X-Men and musicals.
I heard some theory, and I don't remember where I heard this, but it's about Russell Crowe as Javert, and it was somebody, I don't know if they were trying to like justify his singing in it, but it was like, well, it makes sense that it's not like a pleasant sounding voice because you're not supposed to find Javert pleasant sounding. You are not supposed to root for Javert. Although Javert is a very complicated character because he's like, I'm doing my job.
Great character.
It's like he's like, I want to do my job, but at the same time, like morals over like duty. Right. It's a whole thing. So that whole thing was like, oh, he didn't sound great because you're not supposed to like him because he's the villain or the anti-hero. Which I guess makes sense. But undoubtedly the best part of that whole movie is the Barricade Boys.
Absolutely. Do you know why? Because they're all theater actors.
Yeah, they're all West End actors aside from Aaron Tveit, who is a Broadway actor.
Yeah. And can I just say, I'm very bitter that George Blagden's solo in Drink With Me was cut out. I'm still so fucking sad about that. Because I love George Blagden. I would die for him. I love him so much. And he gave Les Mis fans so much content. He gave Angleterre fans everything, and we love him for it.
My goodness.
But yeah, I love Les Mis is like my roommate Evan. She always knows if she comes home to me watching Les Mis that I'm going through it. Like Les Mis is my depression musical. Like it's changed up a little bit in the last little bit because like Les Mis hasn't really felt like right for the kind of depression that I'm in. But normally speaking, Les Mis is like there for me. Like it's like I will sit there and I will watch it and I will just weep for like hours over Les Mis. My friends and I have had sleepovers where we watch Victor Hugo movies and we cry. Like we watch Hunchback and Les Mis and we just like cry for hours.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's a movie called Big Sky. Have you ever seen it?
No. Is it about Wyoming?
No. It has.
Is that where Big Sky is, or is it Montana?
I have no idea. This is in the desert. I don't know where. It has Bella Thorne. Not my fave. Kira Sedgwick, Frank Grillo, who I think is like hottest of hot human beings. Aaron Tveit and some other people.
By the way, Big Sky is Montana. Just FYI.
Okay. And this movie is about like a girl who has like agoraphobia and like all this stuff. And then it's not a good movie. I'm gonna say that right now. It's not a good movie. But Aaron Tveit plays Frank Grillo's little brother, half brother. And his whole like he's a really fucked up character. I love really fucked up characters. Like they're always the most interesting. There's a reason why everyone is obsessed with like serial killers and true crime. It's because they're the most interesting human beings to like look into and like digest and understand. So like in Big Sky, he plays this character who, when he was a kid, he says that whenever he was a kid, his mom wanted him to be a girl, and so she hit him in the head with a gravel rake, and it like caused
because that will turn them into a girl.
Yeah, so it's like, so basically like you get the gist that like she was abusive and all this other stuff. So like it caused a lot of issues in like his mental capacity and all this other stuff. So like there's a scene, it's very uncomfortable. There's a scene where he low-key rapes someone. It's really uncomfortable. I don't watch this movie. I've seen it a couple of times. I don't really like it because it makes me very uneasy. There's a lot of really fucked up people in it. And none of them really have any redeeming qualities. Pretty much everyone ends up dead in the end. Like it's not a great movie, but the characters are interesting. If you're into like movies where like every single character has some sort of mental illness, and watch it. Who cares? Then we have Graceland, which if you've ever spoken to me for more than 5 minutes, I'm obsessed with Graceland. It's one of my favorite television shows ever. You hand me an FBI show that isn't a procedural cop show, and I will run with it. Like, I will not shut up about it for the rest of my life.
I definitely watched that because of him also.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I
started it because of him, but I'm like obsessed with it now. It's like a whole thing.
It's fine. I guess I also just like, I don't know.
I feel like it's just not your
thing. Yeah, it's just not my thing. Also, I get mad when they film California and Florida.
Yeah, that's fair.
Gross. Why would you do that? Excuse me, that's not allowed. I don't give a fuck about taxes.
My favorite thing is still just like that the Graceland house is the house in Sex and the City 2, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, Better Off Single. This is I watch this a few times a year. I watch it every year on Valentine's Day.
It's not How to Be Single with Rebel Wilson and Dakota Johnson?
No, I don't like that movie. It is Better Off Single.
I don't like that movie.
I don't like Dakota Johnson. I cannot stand. I think she's fine. I don't like her. Better Off Single is a rom-com from a male perspective, which I always find interesting. I'm like changing it up. Interesting.
There's one of those on Netflix starring Adam Devine, which is called like The Time We Met or like When We Met or something.
Yeah. I've seen part of it. I do actually really want to watch it because I
watched it all, but I watched it all at like 2 a.m. and so I know what it's about, but I'm also like, I don't remember how to feel about it.
Right. So Better Off Single, I love. It's a train wreck from beginning to end, but it is a beautiful train wreck, and I highly recommend it because whenever I've read reviews for this movie and everyone hates it, it's usually women who write reviews hating on this movie, and I think it's because they're like, how is this attractive man struggling so much to find love? And I'm like, because he's finding women that want to sleep with him, but like he wants like, like a romantic connection. Like that's the whole point is he's like, I don't want to just have sex with people. I want like a genuine like connection with another human being, which I like. I prefer that to other rom-coms that are just like, I'm gonna go and have sex with everyone I see. Yeah, highly recommend Better Off Single. It makes me laugh so fucking hard every time I watch it. Undrafted, I've mentioned it multiple times on here. I love Undrafted. I would die for all of those men. I love that movie. Brain Dead, all my Brain Dead friends out there, because Abby and I discuss this show every day.
I've never seen the show and I never will because I don't want I don't like dramas. I just don't. I watch comedies. I don't. Okay. So cuz like I don't like things with long story arcs. Like I like things that can be like completed in an episode. So I like episodic rather than like series or whatever it's called. Like yeah. So and I like comedies. So like Parks and Rec is my favorite show. Parks and Rec. I like Gilmore Girls. I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I like a good Mike Schur show.
Yeah, valid because they're great. Brain Dead
also the ones I grew up with too, like Fresh Prince, Sister, Full House, Boy Meets World, like those shows.
I love Sister. I used to watch that like every day after school. Love Sister. So Brain Dead I love though because I started it, or I was like, I want to watch this because of Aaron, but it has so many people like Santino Fontana, Nikki James, Tony Shalhoub, Megan Hilty, Beth Malone. Like there are so many people in this show and I love it. And I love when the Kings start a new show because I'm like, there's gonna be like 1,000 Broadway actors. That they are not gonna let one Broadway actor go unemployed.
Speaking of, I have zero idea who the Kings are, but do you remember that?
Good Wife.
Okay.
The Good Wife.
And I'm assuming also The Good Fight. But do you remember that article that came out a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago where it was like Law and Order is literally employing as many like theater actors as
They
possible.
do that anyway.
I know, but they're like now it is like implicitly like this is what we're doing because we understand that like you can't work, so we're gonna try to give you all of the work that we can.
And what I love about SVU is what they do is they don't pull like, it's not always lead actors in musicals and stuff. It's ensemblists. Like they cast so many ensemble members, swing members. They cast so many just like theater actors around New York City, and it's amazing. I love it. That's one of the reasons why I love SVU so much and like why I support SVU so much is like they're making sure that theater people are employed all the time, and I love it. But yeah, so, and then the last one's Created Equal. I don't recommend that. It's not a good movie. Out of Blue, really good. If you love Patricia Clarkson, highly recommend. It's a really good movie. The Code, that also has Pippa Sue as the lead. Anna Wood is in it.
Like military, right? Like military based.
It's the Marines, I believe. It's look at the professional and personal lives of some of the military's brightest legal minds in the courtroom. Yeah. Marines. Yeah, it's got Anna Wood, Pippa Sue, Rafi Barsoomian, I want to say. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. I could be saying that wrong. Derek Klena's in it. Aaron's in a few episodes. Adam Chandler. How do you say his last name?
I've always said Brat.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Whenever I don't know how to pronounce a person's name, I try to find like an interview of them like introducing themselves, and I just like replay it over and over again. But
yeah, I usually say Barrett, but I feel like yours is more right than mine is.
If like, I don't know if it's Barrett, Barrett, Barat. Yeah. I'm not sure. I've always said Barat though. Yeah.
But he's in it. Lily Cooper's in it. Bobby Cotton Thornton. Like it's got Joe Carroll's in it. He shows up in it, and it made my entire life. Joe Carroll showed up, and I was like, this show is mine now. I'm obsessed with this. Drew Gayling is in it. Like it's got all these like Broadway people that everyone loves. So yeah. And obviously Katie and I both watched One Royal Holiday.
Yeah. Had
Naturally.
And
then coming up this summer is Schmigadoon,
which Apple TV just released like a trailer of all of their upcoming shows.
This isn't real. Schmigadoon was in there for 0.5 seconds.
I know. You see Cecily Strong and Keegan Michael Key like turn their backs, and then you like briefly see like, Dove Cameron.
A split second of Kristen Chenoweth and a split second of Dove Cameron. And I literally downloaded it off of YouTube and I put it on my phone so I could like.
Are Dove Cameron and Kristen Chenoweth gonna be playing mother and daughter again?
No.
Oh my god. They just only play mother and daughter, it feels like.
Kristen Chenoweth is a brunette in this show, actually, and it threw me off.
Oh, look at her.
And
I feel like Kristen Chenoweth is one of those people. Oh, continue, and then I'll tell you.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, so whenever this show got announced, it got announced last January, and I knew Cecily Strong was writing it, and I'm all for Cecily Strong. She's one of my absolute favorite, top 5 favorite people of all time. Love her. So like I knew that she was attached to it. I knew that Lorne Michaels was attached to it, and I think this was before I knew Keegan Michael Key was. But I was like so like I was like already obsessed with it because I was like Cecily Strong doing anything I'm here for. And then when
do you think Lorne Michaels when Lorne Michaels random question, when Lorne Michaels creates a show, is there always a like former / current SNL member attached to it?
As far as I know,
I feel like they usually create them together.
Yeah. I think
like
so.
They adapt. They work on it together. They produce it together.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so Schmigadoon has like a gazillion. This cast is like insanely stacked, and I'm very so excited. For it. I love every single person attached to it. Like, there's not one person that I'm not excited about. It's even in like the like ensemblist part of it. Like, I'm so here for it. I'm obsessed.
Yeah. Going back to Kristen Chenoweth, I feel like Kristen Chenoweth is one of those people who, like Billy Porter, like Nathan Lane, like, people like that, where people know them, and people who aren't even like associated or pay attention to like theater, they're like, oh, those
Yeah.
are theater people who just also happen to do like film and television and are wildly successful in both.
Yeah.
And granted, Billy Porter's success on television has been more recent, but he is definitely known as, and he is very much like an advocate for the arts. He's like, the art, I would not be where I am if it were not for the arts. And I think I really like those types of people who are like, yeah, but I'm also here to represent the theater.
Yes, like I love it. That
Yeah.
it makes me so happy.
They're like, yeah, I just happen to be in like a breakout film, but like the theater is my home.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. All right. Ready to wrap this up?
we took
We
a
only
great
talked about Aaron Tveit.
filmography. You know what? That's fine, Katie. I'm tired. I've had a week. I think that we deserved this.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to talk about the thing I told you, the New York Times article I got. Because it pissed me off and I want to discuss this. So we don't have to go in. I just want to like bring it up to people and have it in their minds. I got a New York Times article a couple hours ago that says NCAA basketball tournaments will welcome fans, thousands of fans, for March Madness, which is going to create a great revenue stream, but will cause an increase in the risk of getting the virus, obviously. And I just think it's interesting that, thousands of people can gather indoors, might I add, to watch basketball game. But we can't socially distance watch theater.
Yeah.
And I understand basketball stadium arena
arenas.
Thank you. I don't know anything. I understand that they're larger. I understand that they can hold more people. I get that. Really, I do. Genuinely understand that. But it boggles my mind that this is allowed. It really does.
I think a lot, and I agree. I don't want people to be going to basketball games. I don't want people to be going to theater. I do not think it's safe.
No.
But when I try to step back and I try to think about, well, why is this being allowed?
Mm-hmm.
These arenas can take a loss on profits because the arenas aren't the ones who are playing the players. That's an entirely different organization that runs off of advertising, that runs off of, recording and distributing these games. They can take the loss. Whereas with theater, it does matter how many people are in those seats to break even on a show, lasting. And so I don't think it's safe to be doing either of them right now.
It's not.
But like, if you want to be like, well, why are they doing it? Like, why aren't they worried about that? They're not worried about a loss because they don't really have to worry about it.
And like
and
my thing is, I don't want either of them to happen because it is dangerous. I don't want either of them to happen because it's not safe. But it hurts. It hurts. I don't know how else to describe it. And I know that everyone is hurting. Everyone in the theater industry feels that because I've seen that. I've seen them say that on social media recently. And
it's just kind of like a slap in the face.
It is. It's a huge slap in the face.
You're not as important as this.
Yeah. When it's like, well, you can stream all of your games on TV. Everyone can watch the games anytime on television. Live theater doesn't have that. Live theater doesn't have this like amazing way to stream to people all over the world.
No, and it's very costly to do so for the theater industry. That's why we don't have
And
a
they,
lot of pro shots.
and even
However, I think it's amazing that we are getting, at least that we know of, 2 pro shots, because we're getting
absolutely.
Diana and Come From Away. God, I cannot wait for Come From Away. I'm just gonna sob and sob
And
and sob.
I'm a huge like advocate. I love pro shots. I watch bootlegs. I'm very openly admit that. I watch bootlegs. I know a lot of people that do. I know a lot of people that aren't comfortable with it. That's fine. That's your opinion. Like I'm, you know, whatever you feel is whatever you feel. But I'm a huge advocate for it because I know how hard it is to get access to theater, because for most of my life, I didn't have a lot of access to it because of where I lived. And a lot of people say that like I will say this though, I have had people come for me saying that like, because I do say that I didn't have great access because of where I lived, and they're like, well, I live in another country. And I'm like, okay, I lived in an area where it was very difficult for me to be able to go and see shows. We're in the same boat. Like, it's not a pissing contest. It's not. Who cares? We're all in the same boat. We all are struggling with it. We have been, like, I've been struggling with it for most of my life. I haven't had great access to theater. So I know how hard that is. And I know how crucial bootlegs and pro shots are, because I dealt with that. Like, I have had firsthand experience with that. And I love having them at my fingertips if I need to like pick me up. So, but at the same time, I feel the difference. I know that there's a huge difference to watching a pro shot in my living room.
The people who watch bootlegs and pro shots are not the same people who wouldn't see a show because they got to see it, a pro shot.
And I wish more people who have this like mentality that bootlegs are the enemy and they are going to ruin the industry. That is false. That is absolutely incorrect. Bootlegs are helping the industry, if nothing else, because I have never once watched a bootleg and then been like, I don't need to see the show now. I think I'm good. I'll just live off of this like shaky video footage
that goes down every like 10 minutes trying to hide.
Like, I'm just like, that's never satisfied me. Every bootleg I've seen, I've been like, I need to see this. I need to feel this in the theater. I need to experience this as much as I possibly can. And it's the people that have never understood that. It's the people that have never had like, it's the people who have always had access to theater that don't feel that way. And I think that that's sad. I hate that, because they don't understand, and then they shame people who don't have access because they can't afford it. They live elsewhere. Like, it's hard. And I think that everyone just needs to put themselves in other people's shoes.
I agree.
When it comes to stuff like that, because it's such a minor thing. It really is.
And yes, and I absolutely agree. And I also think we need to break past this like idea that like Broadway is the end all be all. Like,
I agree.
Community theater and regional theater is the backbone of
regional theater is
theater.
One of my favorite things on the planet. I love regional.
I'm lucky enough to have great regional theater around here with the La Mirada Playhouse, with the Mark Taper and the KDT and the Geffen. I live in Southern California. I live in the greater Los Angeles area. I have access. I do, unlike you, I do have access to great theater. And it's also interesting because sometimes, because it's also Los Angeles, there are like sometimes like a known actor will be in these things, and I understand that like that's a weird thing for other parts of the country, but like we need to like be giving regional theater the same kind of energy that we give Broadway.
Yeah, and I mean, I won't say I've never had access to good regional theater, because within the last 6 years my hometown got a really great regional theater.
That's so exciting.
And it's so amazing because we have, it's called the Lex. If you guys want to look them up, the Lex Theater Co. They're amazing.
In Lexington, Kentucky, I'm assuming.
Yes, they're amazing. I love them. They put on amazing productions. And like I got to see Newsies and West Side Story, and I got to see Dan DeLuca as Jack Kelly in Newsies, and I got to see Colton Ryan as Tony in West Side Story because he's from Lexington. And Mara Davi was in The Music Man. Like, I've gotten to see some amazing theater with some amazing actors, some amazing known actors and some amazing unknown actors. And what they always say is they say that their casts are the current like Broadway, oh God, what is it? Something current Broadway and Broadway hopefuls. That's what they always say, because it's like they have big goals for everyone that comes into the company, and they have like really big dreams for all these people because they're all so talented. Like, Lexington, Kentucky breeds some pretty talented people. I mean, like,
in the
Laura
sports
Bell
world
Bundy,
too, everyone went to everyone on the Lakers apparently went to University of Kentucky.
yeah, so yeah, fun fact, Laura Bell Bundy's family is in Kentucky, like in Lexington, the Lexington area.
But also, isn't like Jennifer
big...
Lawrence and what's his face? What's his name? Josh
Jennifer Lawrence
Hutcherson.
is
Aren't their families
yeah,
from Kentucky too?
Jennifer Lawrence is from like the suburbs of Louisville. And Josh Hutcherson is from Union, Kentucky, so he's from Northern Kentucky. Yeah, like Kentucky's got some pretty cool people from it.
Also, George Clooney is from Kentucky.
George Clooney is from Kentucky, yeah. I say Johnny Depp. I'm not a big Johnny Depp person, but like, yeah, Johnny Depp is.
Johnny Depp's from Kentucky?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Ask all of my elementary school teachers. They were quick to tell me that as a kid. They loved him. It's also because I was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean, not Johnny Depp. I was obsessed with Orlando Bloom.
My fifth grade teacher was obsessed with Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, and then there was a girl who was like a great.
Jack Sparrow is a great character. I want to say that I love Jack.
There was a girl who was a grade above me whose like aunt was a makeup artist on Pirates of the Caribbean. And so she was able to like get him to like sign something for her, and she had it like framed in her class.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, so also Steve Zahn is from Kentucky.
But Steve Zahn, he has a theater company in Kentucky, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has I don't know like what exactly it does. Like, I don't know what exactly. It's not like a theater company, it's like a, I don't know how to, I don't really know what it is. Like, I've been told what it is and I don't remember. But he owns a farm in central Kentucky, about 20-ish minutes from my house. And his daughter is friends with my cousin. They dance together, and she's the sweetest person on this earth. Like, she is the sweetest person ever. I've heard mixed things about Steve Zahn. I've had nothing but good experiences with him, but I've heard a couple mixed things about him.
Everyone can have a bad story about someone.
Right.
People probably think I'm like bad.
Oh, I know people think I'm a bitch. They've told me. But like I mean, I got some pretty awful feelings towards Laura Bell Bundy, but I'm not going to go into that because it's a little bit more personal than.
Is it the same cousin that danced?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Laura Bell Bundy's niece used to dance with one of my cousins. That's where I'll leave it.
But is it the same cousin that danced with Steve Zahn's daughter?
Alexander, my cousin Alexander, was in a similar age group to Steve Zahn's daughter. My cousin Juliana was in the same group as Laura Bell Bundy's niece.
And these are not related?
No, they're brother and sister.
Oh, is this the same brother and sister with the God I Hate Shakespeare, or the Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I listen. I retain information sometimes.
Some of my best friends. They're younger than me, but I love them more than anything. They're my faves. But yeah, so I got beef with Laura Bell Bundy. I'm not going to discuss it because I don't feel like having Legally Blonde fans come for me. I love Legally Blonde the musical. I will say that though. I love Legally Blonde the musical. Please don't attack me.
You also love Hairspray.
Yeah, I love Hairspray. I don't like Laura Bell Bundy as a person. I've said what I said. Moving on. But I'll tell Katie something after this. But I'm very grateful that within the last few years we've had the Lex Theater Company take off the way that it has. Like, it's amazing. And they're still doing like virtual stuff right now. Like they're doing virtual classes and virtual like Zoom stuff. Like I know that Laura Bell Bunny and Mara Davi are a part of a Zoom thing that they're doing.
Is Mara Davi from Kentucky?
No, she's just worked with the Lex. She was Marion in Music Man. But yeah, like if you go on their Instagram, check them out because they're awesome. And they're still they're doing workshops and virtual classes and things like that. So if you
is this the same place that at the beginning of the pandemic had the marquee out for saying it's possible, period, things are happening every day?
Yeah, and they had some very I love them, but some of the things that they had up during like Black Lives Matter stuff was a little bit tone deaf. But they've yeah, I'm not gonna say what they had up because it's just embarrassing and I don't want to like I don't want to bring any of that up because it's a mess. But yeah, they would do a thing. They got a new marquee just before the pandemic. And so during the shutdown and like during quarantine and everything, every week there was 2 new musical quotes. And so I would drive into Lexington every day and I would cry. I would drive past it and I would go and get my Dunkin' Donuts and I would drive past the Lex and I would cry. The Lex isn't like its own theater. It's they do all their shows at the Opera House, Lexington Opera House, which is a beautiful, beautiful venue. I love the Opera House. It's also where my cousins have all their dance recitals, so I'm very like in tune with it. Like I've been there many a time. But yeah, I love that marquee. I hated it at first, and then they started putting all that stuff up, and I'm like, I love this marquee. This marquee is everything to me.
When the Pantages went from like static to digital, I was so upset, but now I kind of like dig the digital.
Yeah, like I hate because it's a digital one, so like I hated it, and I was like, this is ugly. I hate this. And then COVID hit, and I was like, this is everything. This is all I have. Like, but yeah. Anyways, I said my piece about regional theater.
All right, let's wrap it up. Jill, where can people find us?
On TikTok and Instagram, we are at Thoughts Shared Podcast. And I am at It's Jill Hayes on all social media platforms.
And if you'd like to follow me, hi, I'm Katie. I'm at Complete Katie on Instagram and Katiefornia on TikTok. So follow us there and we'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.